here we are, mate. We have made it happen.
Oh, we made it.
You might be wondering, where are we? What are we doing? This is episode 1 of something that's been in the works for a little while. And we're here for Top Deck Muscle Radio.
Top Deck.
Now...
My accent could make it sound a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Don't get any ideas from
Jump on. We started this idea, and the way we came about this name was Kwame and I, we've known each other for since 2012 it was. That's a backstory. Anyhow, we're at the comps recently, bumped into one another, and one thing led to another. Kwame called me daddy, and then I mentioned...
Oh, he is a daddy though. Not that kind of daddy.
I am sugar daddy. And then I mentioned Top Deck. And for those of you who don't know what Top Deck is, it is a block of chocolate with white chocolate and then dark chocolate, normally on the bottom actually. So I would be the alpha perhaps, white on top.
Wait, nah, that's not right. We're going to redo this. How do you reverse Top Deck?
Deck top, perhaps.
Deck top.
But here we are. We've decided to make this happen. We've wanted to do a podcast for a very long time. Yeah. And the thing with Kwame and I is we've been in this industry for collectively probably, 30 plus years. I've been in it for maybe 20, coming up 19, 20, and you're probably pretty similar.
Pretty much.
Kwame, actually, you pretty much came out the womb looking like that. So. But
stop
collectively, we've had a lot of experiences, good and bad. We've done our fair share of competing and obviously learning the game. We're trying to learn the game the best we can. So we wanted to try and bridge the gap for you guys on giving you something informative, taking out a lot of the guesswork of the industry, but also adding some humor and personality to it, because there's a lot of podcasts out there that have, I know what you're thinking, it's another health and fitness podcast, but let's be honest, a lot of these guys out there are pretty vanilla. And we want to try and make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, we want to swell the vanilla.
So we've decided to make it happen. So let's get into it, mate. Episode number 1. We plan on doing some informative stuff. There's going to be some rabbit holes. Anyone that knows me personally knows you mix me in some caffeine, there's going to be rabbit holes. I get slightly unhinged as well. So if you're under 15 and watching this, maybe watch it with a parent. And then we'll talk about some future episodes as well. We've got some guests lined up as well. So it's going to be a hoot. And if no one listens, at least me and you will have fun.
Yeah, we'll have fun. But we want you to join too. So come along.
2026. New year, new us, or new year, same us?
I don't know. That's a very big one, because depending on the person or depending on who you ask, 2025 could have been a very rough year or could have been a very great one. And I find some people were ready to leave 2025 behind, or some people were just ready to embrace 2026. So it really depends on who you ask.
It's funny that, man. New Year's Eve celebrations, I was talking about this with a friend recently. I think it's one of the most overhyped days of the year, and often leads to more letdown, because we think it's going to be this great party or whatever you choose to do on a New Year's Eve, but it's always filled with so much emotion. And I find more often than not, people are pretty happy to close the year that was.
True.
And you can sometimes, well, I do anyway, sometimes feel a little bit guilty if you've had a great year, sharing that with others, because there are a lot of people out there that may have had misfortune and stuff. So I have been very blessed the last couple of years. Probably the last 2 years have been some of the best years of my life. So I would say hopefully new year, same me, but slightly improved. We're always trying to be better, right?
We are. And for me, it's an interesting one, because 2025 was honestly very rough for me. It was a tough one, probably the toughest year of my life. But it also made me so much stronger. I learned so much about myself, and it was the first time I actually got to take a step back and actually learn more, but also understand. So the cool thing about that was my perspective broadened. I built a lot of resilience, and I actually started to appreciate some of the hurdles, because some of those hurdles actually allowed me to help other people. And getting towards the end of the year became probably some of the best years as well of my life, because after going through quite a bit, nothing seemed as hard anymore. So I started to appreciate all the smaller things, and so that's what makes it confusing, and that's where it kind of draws the line, because I'm like, okay, I am continuing on from 2025. By the end of 2025, I've learned a lot of lessons, and these lessons have shaped me. And they say when you go through like a hard time, it's an opportunity for you to learn something. And that's how I always see it. I don't see like my struggles, I don't see my hurdles as anything like, you know, that's going to bring me down and keep me down. It's now more to help me rise above and prepare me for future situations that are supposed to be tough as well. So
yeah, it's a really good point, man. Let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit. Obviously, I've got a little bit of framework here to keep us on track, but I really like what you've said there, and it does sound cliche when we talk about, like, you know, the hard times are what shape us, but they truly do, because that's where you learn character.
Yes.
Like you said, it builds resilience, and even for myself, when I look back on when I've had my biggest periods of growth in my life, like personal development wise, it's normally through the struggles. And so for anyone out there listening, it's easy to hear it from others that, don't worry, this time you're experiencing right now will get better, it'll get easier. But truly, when you go through these dark times, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not the easy stuff in life that really allows us to grow and improve, as much as that would be nice, right? To just avoid those pains. But that's kind of what puts the plates of armor on your chest as well.
It really does. And I find that the hard times and the struggles helps you build so much resilience that carries you through the other times and most of your successful times. So, like, I'm not saying that when you go through something big or small, like, it's not valid. It's whatever you go through is always valid. And at the time, you feel like it's the end of the world. But also knowing that, like, going through something hard and knowing that you can come out stronger and will be better afterwards, that's also really nice. And it just shapes you for, like, the future as well, when you have other things. And you get just a broader perspective.
Yeah, that word there, perspective, is something that I've tried to and thought a lot about over the last year or so, because you hear things like there's never a truly bad or good situation. It's just how we perceive it. Now, obviously, there's some extreme examples, which we don't need to talk about, but bad stuff happens in the world, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But when we say get a parking ticket, and for some people, that might feel like the end of the world. They're stressed, you know, they're frustrated, but for others, that could just be a matter of, like, okay, turn the page and move on. So it's often, you know, it's the same situation, but depending how you look at it and how you view these things can determine, I guess, what you perceive as a good, bad, tough, easy situation.
Actually, while I was going through a tough year, I actually got a parking ticket as well. So I don't even, and I never told you about that. No, I had a laugh.
Let's talk.
I had a laugh about it. I was like, this is the first time I'm actually laughing about this, because, like, this seems so small now, and I'm like, my God.
Yeah, it's funny. As humans, you know, we're wired for survival, right? So we have this ability when stress is, like, imposed on us, at, you know, fight or flight, and we get angry and whatever. And as, like, I've grown up, I've realized that life will never be stress-free. But it's funny, when things are going really good, sometimes it's the smallest things that'll set you off and stress you out. Like, life might be going, you know, perfectly, and then you get a parking ticket and all of a sudden you're pissed off. But then if you're going through some major battles in your life, you know, maybe it's a family member that's sick or something like that, then that same parking ticket is, like, insignificant. So it's almost like, depending on where you're at with your current situation in life, you know, if you're on top of that hill, sometimes it's the smallest stresses that seem like a big deal, but when you're actually going through some rough stuff, it truly makes you realize, you know what, all that shit that I was worried about before, it doesn't even matter.
I agree. And it's 2026, as we said, like, there's also a lot of people starting their fitness journeys. You know, they have different reasons that both of us have had the experience of going to the gym for different reasons, not just aesthetics. As shredded as this guy is, even though he's wearing the top, I think he should really be doing this podcast topless as well.
Mate,
next
is
time.
it? Are we doing video as well?
Oh, wait.
Because don't tell me. No, no.
Okay. That's
Me going topless next to you, mate, is
Instagram
like
content.
parking a Corolla next to a Ferrari, man.
And how cool. Top deck. You're wearing the
Top
white
deck.
shirt. I'm wearing the black shirt.
This wasn't even planned,
This
man.
wasn't
planned. Oh, there's going to be many moments like this. But like you said, mate, 2026, there's a lot of people out there starting their journey for the first time. Or maybe you've fallen off the horse. Maybe you've tried the gym before, you've tried some group fitness, and you just found yourself back in some old habits. So this time of year, a lot of people that are regular gym goers, they find it frustrating that gyms get packed, and you know they'll say things like, "Oh, it's just these people here that it's a fad for them. It's not a lifestyle." But remember, guys, we all started from somewhere. We were probably amongst that fad as well to begin with, and that leads me into something that I wanted to ask you. Actually, is like, well, firstly, what are your goals, health and fitness wise, for this year? And off the back of that, what do you think causes some people to fall off the bandwagon?
I think, first of all, I'll start with my goals for health and fitness. It's more on the wellness side. So for me, I love training. I love training mentally, physically, aesthetically, everything. I love training. I could live in the gym if I could. And if I'd never got injuries, I would literally train for hours without
Dude, you
recovery.
should try living in the gym, man. It's cheaper than a house. I've got a mortgage, trust me, bro. $9.90 a week sounds much better.
Wait, actually,
Is there a
there's a
rule
shower
with
there.
24/7 gyms? Do you have to be out by a certain time?
Actually not. This could be the loophole.
You watch what's going to happen, man.
No.
Tents and swags are coming. You'll see Riderwear, Revo.
Oh, the tents
Mate, the
and
guys are already
conditions.
training 5 or 6s. They'll have like a bunk bed set up in there.
That could be our next skit. But health and fitness wise, mine has shifted towards a wellness side because ideally, like going through a lot over the years has helped me get in touch a lot more with my mind and understand my body more, understand my mind more. I've also gone through quite a bit where in the past I tore my bicep off the bone, and that was a good thing. It was a blessing in disguise. I was able to help other people that had gone through similar. But
Guys started to feel confident in the gym. Other guys wearing singlets, knowing that you were out of action for a while. It was a blessing, man. Yeah, thank you for that. When yours was torn, mine actually became the same size as yours. It was great.
Sheesh. But it was crazy because during that time I walked into the gym and I couldn't train. I was to be honest, I was just jealous of everyone there that they could just move.
Yep.
Not even aesthetics, taking aesthetics away. That was a big moment for me. It just made me appreciate the gym more, right? And over the
You want
years,
what you can't have, right? It's
it.
always the way.
That is it. You
Yep.
want what. That is so true. So, and even like getting into that, I was like, okay, cool. What matters? Like, I love training, right? If I could train every day, I would. But what's my restriction there? Obviously, time, business, and all of that, but also injuries. So we've both had our shares of injuries, and if I can look after my body well, and do the things that are boring, like sometimes, I mean, the sauna isn't boring, but just a bit of stretching, a bit of recovery, keeping myself in good health as well too, understanding that, doing a bit of like breath work, being in touch with my mind, and being able to navigate my energy in a way that I can distribute a good amount to my training, my business, my life, my relationships, and all of that as well too. That is perfect. So my fitness and health goals this year are more wellness. When it comes to work-wise, I do a bit of travel. So sometimes, aesthetically wise, I always want to look like this guy. This guy is just like, obviously so much knowledge, but he's always so shredded. I'm going to Bali tomorrow, right? And I was doing a little mini shred for it, and he will still be more shredded than me. I'm my most shredded part. So
I've actually paid him. I've paid him to say it, guys. There's the 50, man. There's the 50.
No, but in all honesty, yeah, just maintain a good, healthy physique as well, but also stay injury free for me. Yeah,
Yeah, that is such a good point, mate. Because honestly, Kwame and I, we haven't rehearsed this, and my goals are actually very, very similar to yours. And maybe it's because we've been doing this for so long. And I've noticed there seems to be a little bit more of a trend online. Like you look at Chris Bumstead, right?
Yeah.
Where he's now being this jacked elite. He calls it like a jacked athlete. So you see a lot of the stuff he's doing now. He's had his career in the bodybuilding. and he still looks amazing.
Yes.
Still looks better than 99.999% of the population.
Yeah.
But now he's trying to stay injury-free. Obviously, he's got a daughter.
Yes.
So a lot of his drives are similar to mine. And I've been through plenty of injuries. I've had 2 shoulder operations on my right, 1 on my left, 2 hernia repairs, and I'm currently dealing with some really bad knees at the moment, which could be surgical as well. And you hit this point in your lifting career where you realize that, like, right, this is something, if you're truly passionate about it, you want to do it till the day you die.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that, like, but you know, speaking from, it's like if you're in a walking frame and you'd still be benching 3 plates, but you want to do it for as long as you can, right? Whether that's 50, 60, and now with all the studies out with how much of a benefit it has on your long-term health.
I'm going to interrupt you for a moment as well.
Yeah, you're
too.
bigger. You say what you want, dude. I'm just here as a guest.
You also want to make sure that you, Banks isn't out lifting you as well too.
Well, now having 2 boys, that is honestly, all jokes aside, one of my biggest drivers and motivations is for many reasons. Like, I want to be a role model for them. I want to teach them like hard work and discipline. I want to also be able to fight off 2 teenagers. So, mate, I'm telling you, these guys, both of them, they've done the height test and all of that sort of stuff. I don't know, it's not 100% accurate, but I've probably got 5 years of being the alpha in the house left of me, because I think Banks was set to be about 5'11".
Yeah, wow.
For those of you guys that haven't met me in person, like, maybe this camera angle is doing me favors, but I'm like 5'7". So yeah, he's
6'5".
Low center of gravity, great core control. You know, hard to get pushed over.
His Instagram bio says
laying on my back. but both the boys are coming up, and Dawson's actually looking to be bigger than Banks as well. So that also really motivates me too. Is like, right, I want to not only be an example and show these boys the way, but to actually be able to play with them, whether it's mountain bike riding, if they want to do martial arts, if they want to go to the gym when they're 16, 17. Like, I've got a lot of years left in me, and I've got to start to think about this longevity, because it's always like, you have to think of it like this as well. When you're injured, you can't train at all. So that is like 0 progress. So sometimes people think, hey, if I'm not going 110% in each and every session, then what's the point in training? But remember, when you are injured, there is no progress. So you have to think about things differently. And I'm like you, man. I love to train hard. Yeah. And we could do a whole episode of that, which I'm sure we will. But there comes a risk. And you have to think about things differently now. And like you said, it's about like a whole body thing now, where it's mind, body, you know, we could call it spirit, all sort of interrelated. And I'm very much on the same page as you. And another big motivator for me this year is I want to get into some more martial arts. Ooh, because like, when you become a parent and your responsibility is to basically, as a male, provide and protect, right? That's, if we rewind all the years to the caveman, that's what it's all about, right?
I agree.
And nowadays we live in a great society where for the most part it's really safe. But I want to be able to not only provide for my family, but to protect. And I love the UFC, and like, as Georgie will call me, I'm a couch coach. So I like to think I know a lot about it. But martial arts is truly humbling.
Wait, Georgia is into martial arts.
Yeah, she's Muay Thai.
Machine.
Yeah, that's why I always load and unload the dishwasher correctly. Yeah. But yeah, to have that whole body approach where it's like, right, 100%. You and I, we are both a little bit biased towards aesthetics, and that'll always be a part of us.
Yeah.
But not only making sure the muscle looks good, but it functions good as well.
True. And you having like 2 boys as well too, it's really, really cool. It's really humbling as well, because one, it like being a role model. I've got a niece, and she's my goddaughter, and I've got other nieces and nephews. I don't want a favorite. But I do have a goddaughter, and she's 12 now, and I'm still thinking of printing a shirt. This is another goal of mine, is to make sure I stay big. So I'll print a shirt with me on there. So when she gets her first boyfriend.
Oh, yes. I like it.
At 40.
Yeah. I like it.
I might Photoshop a bit to make my arms look bigger, but just to scare them away.
Yeah, I had a call with her. Bring them to the family do, the first catch-up, man. Bring them along.
Bring your unks along as well, too.
Yeah. Is that another one of your nephews? Yeah. No, I'm actually 36.
But no, that's cool. That's. I love that we are. That's one thing that's heading in that direction. I feel like wellness is such a big thing now.
that sort of ties into what I was going to ask you as well, is where do you see the industry sort of trending towards now with this sort of year and beyond? Because you guys, if you're listening to this, you're probably into the health, fitness / bodybuilding industry, and it goes like a pendulum. You know, it'll, same as diets and everything, it'll go from, right, fats are bad, you know, carbs are good, and then it'll swing the other way. Nope, carbs are the enemy. We want to go keto style. Training, there was the whole science-based lifting that really took off, which, hey, another whole episode. I'm very passionate about that one.
There's so much that we are excited to share with you. There's, there's literally so much, and I hope you guys stay with us for this, because it's going to be fun.
Oh, dude,
but we're also going to debunk a lot of things. But we're not here to like make anyone look bad or say anything negative about people. We're here to make it simple and easy for you guys to understand while having fun and just connecting and enjoy with us.
There is a lot of confusion out there, though.
There is.
Because like with social media and like I said, how it goes in these pendulum swings, you coach people, I coach people, and you have people that come to you and they have tried different strategies and they can almost go from one to the other. And I actually feel for a lot of people out there who, for us, this is our full-time job and it's our passion. So we like to think we know it like the back of our hand. But I was sort of thinking about this morning, and it's like, I don't know much about crypto, right? And sometimes these things pop up on my Instagram about trending coins and this and that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm interested, right? And then I'm about to go out and buy all these, like, I think it's XLP or XRP coins, but then I hear the opposite. And so it's really tough nowadays. There's so much information out there. How do we debunk it? How do we fact check? How do we know what's right, what's wrong?
You listen to this podcast. But in saying that, that's actually a perfect way to put it, because there's so much information out there. And the crazy thing as well too is it's not just the information. People are also trying to market, right? Being in the social media industry for so long as well, people will literally tell you what they don't do because it's going to get more clicks and more views, and you're going to follow them and buy their program.
Yeah.
We've always been pretty honest, pretty transparent with ourselves as well too. With my clients as well. My clients ask me questions as they would with you. And one thing I've also kept, like I don't usually do much of because I do mostly online. I've always kept like 1 or 2 clients PTing. And the reason for that is they keep reminding me of some of the simple things that people are actually asking, you know, and sometimes we lose track. Like you and I probably lose track. We've been in the industry for so long, and we are learning, and sometimes we forget that people don't know what a calorie is or a macro is. And so ideally just keeping things simple, easy to understand, but also utilizing our knowledge and understanding and our experience from all over those years to be able to help you guys. That's one of the things that this podcast is about. And to touch on the wellness, where the industry is going, I personally think it's going towards wellness. People are starting to get a little bit more in touch with their health and also trying to like doing it for longevity as well. There's been so much going on in the world, and people are starting to prioritize their health. And when they say health, it's not just bodybuilding and aesthetics. People want to look good but feel good. You know, people are in the gym now for different reasons. People could have heartbreak. People could have, you know,
that's a big one.
A family could be passing away, and they find a spot that makes them only focus on them, you know, do something for themselves rather than, you know, some people are just focused on helping everyone else and they never have time for themselves. Man. And there's no other way they find to be able to focus on them. So that like fitness, wellness side is growing, it's exploding.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I think that's the way I see the industry going a little bit as well. I think we go on these pendulum swings, and like you touched on, with social media nowadays, it is a lot about marketing, right? It is, you see these coaches on there, and again, this isn't throwing shade at anyone in particular, but it's trends in the industry that they're more concerned about likes and views, that they're more of a marketer than they are a coach nowadays, right?
True.
And I think this year we're probably going to see a bit of a swing back. I think it'll be possibly less about the hooks, and people will want that sort of transparency. I think maybe long form might make a comeback. I think face-to-face training could make a comeback, because humans like this, man. We like interaction. We saw what COVID did to people, right? Where we were pretty lucky here in Adelaide, but places like Melbourne and overseas with our lockdown, depression rates were through the roof, and like we are social beings. So I think the the face-to-face stuff is, like you said, man, and it can remind us sometimes of we've come so far on this journey, but where a lot of people begin as well.
That's true.
And speaking of beginnings, what was some of the biggest mistakes, or what's something you were embarrassed about when you started on your journey?
Oh, it's probably a lot, but when it comes to fitness-wise, I think when I started, there was a lot less information out there. Everything was quite limited, like back when we started. I came from a sports background. I used to play football, basketball, tennis, and I was very, very competitive. You know, I used to train with people a lot older than me, and I still wanted to keep up with them. I didn't really care how old you were, how experienced you were in the gym. So I remember this one time where the boys went to the gym. It was one of those times where we don't even plan our workouts. We just get into the gym at peak hour, and like whoever's there.
Weren't they some of the best days?
They were actually the best. So I got like everyone just lifted. The gym is just full of energy, and you have 2-hour workouts. Like, and you could recover.
NO Explode, Gaspari Super Dump. They used to call it Super Dump, but yeah.
Oh my god.
UOGs out there know what they were called it, Super Dump.
Exactly.
That thing go through you like a good curry. Jeez.
But like it was one of those things. Everyone wanted to train hard, go to HQ. If you're from Adelaide, you know where it is, or music festivals. But the cool thing was like going there, I would not care about techniques. I like watch back some of my old forms, and I was like doing a squat, for instance, and I had 180 kilos in the bar, thinking I'm this OG, and my range of motion was like that. It was so short. And
just on that, I do have something I've never asked you, but I've wanted to confirm.
yeah.
It's a rumor I heard, right?
Yeah.
You did your PT course like many moons ago at the Australian Institute of Fitness.
Yes.
I did hear that you hadn't done a back squat before, and there was like a class demo or something, and you squatted 3 plates aside. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Guys, a lot of people out there can't squat 140 kilos, let alone someone doing it for like a very early part of their career in front of a class full of, there must have been a lot of females in that PT class, surely. You're like throwing 3 biscuits.
And you know what the crazy thing was, like, so just before the PT class, one of the reasons I actually got into PT was not to help anyone else. It was for selfish reasons, to help myself. Because I was at uni studying media arts. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And but I love sports. So I was like, well, maybe I can learn to be able to get bigger so that I can attract more girls, look in the singlet, be a gym bro, be a bro.
Honestly, man, that's a big drive for a lot of us.
It really is. So it was cool, like going into like the institute or like doing my personal trainer's course and then learning. And I remember even after that, I took on 2 clients and helped them with their prep. And because I started competing. Like not long after that, I went to seek a coach, and Hazer was my coach.
Hazer, shout out, one of the OGs.
One of the OGs. And he helped me through quite a lot as well. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I want to also, and I studied nutrition and food science. And the reason I studied it again was for myself, and it was very selfish. But the fact that I studied it didn't mean that I could teach. It was after where 2 clients approached me from the gym, and they're like, can you help us? Like this, that, and I was like, hey, look, I'm not an expert, but I can try. And they managed to do really well in their competitions. And they were like, okay, you're not a bad coach. Like you kind of know what you're talking about. But obviously didn't believe in myself still. But they're like, one of the best things, especially because they were females as well too, they're like, one of your best qualities is not just the knowledge
the biceps
side.
and the hair and the pecs.
I wish they said that. That would have been a lot more. They're like, you can talk to us, you can listen to us. And I was like, oh, cool. I mean, that's not much of a compliment, but I thought you were going to say
meanwhile,
the biceps.
you're trying to pop out your shirt.
I was like, yeah, it's my triceps. But
no, you're a good listener.
you're a good listener. But it was more like the fact that like they're like, okay, you actually have that ability to deliver information and help people. And that's where it's exciting with like our journey for this podcast, where we're like, okay, can we condense information because there's so much out there for the listeners? Can we make it simple and easy to understand? Like some of my videos I do on social media is like, do this. I keep it super simple. Someone the other day was like, I said the back of your delts, and they're like, oh, why don't you just say the rear delts? Or like, I was like, because not everyone is going to understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know the terms, but
No,
what's
I
the
get
point?
it, man. I get it. They say if you truly know something, that you should be able to explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yes.
And I see people out there that will often use extensive language and vocabulary
Yeah.
they almost do it to make themselves sound smarter, but ultimately you have to be able to, no pun intended, but digest it and
Yes.
break it down for people to understand. Because a coach is someone that can communicate something effectively so their client gets it. And, you said you were doing it for selfish reasons with the nutrition stuff. I would disagree, mate, because ultimately it's led you to where you are today. And you should never feel, in my opinion, selfish for wanting to improve and getting into the path of personal development, because before you can help others, you got to be able to help yourself. And I think that's a big sort of revolution that a lot of people go through. Probably, I'd say for me, it was about mid-20s where I was similar to yourself. I had an injury. It was my first ever gym injury, shoulder operation, a recon. And when the gym's taken away from you and you kind of associate that to your identity, like I thought all I was Ben the bodybuilder, but then when you're forced to kind of look outside that scope, that's when I went down that personal development path. And I did a lot of work on myself, which, some people would say is maybe selfish, but ultimately it helps to shape you into the person you are. So you can then maybe one day pass that information on to others and help them on their journeys too.
I think a lot of people that are watching now can actually relate to that. And not even, if it's not even in the fitness sense, I feel like when you do go through something hard, that's when you start to actually focus a little bit more on personal development. Sometimes life is so fast moving and that actually makes you take a step back and breathe and be like, okay, wow, this is me. This is how I react in tough situations. This is how I react in, when on my highs as well too. You really, really learn a lot more about yourself, and that actually helps to amplify you and take you further along, and it helps you develop a lot more even in the future as well too. So
there's so much noise out there now, and we have adjusted our society to always be busy. We're always, even though things are easier now and designed to save us time, like to do your banking, open up your phone. You don't have to go down to a manual branch and do your check and all that. But it's funny, we have less available time now, right? Even though things are simpler. And one of my goals for this year was actually to do a different sort of diet, was like what I call an information diet. So just listening to less, because you know what it's like nowadays. You got your Instagram, you've got emails, you've got YouTube, and I go through podcasts, for example. And I would go through these phases of these personal development sort of journeys. And I used to think that right, if I was driving in my car, it was wasted time unless I was listening to a podcast. Or if I went for a walk, I better learn something. But the trouble was, and I know I'm probably contradicting myself a little bit now, but because I was exposed just to so much information all the time, I actually wasn't taking any in.
I love that.
And it was something that I realized when even last year I had a goal to read, I can't remember if it was 15 or 20 books. And I pretty much got there. But if you were to ask me, what was in each book, I could probably remember maybe a few sentences. And so information overload is a big one, guys. And I think sometimes, like you said, just slowing down in life and just pausing. Because now when you're in the line to the coffee shop, what do? Bang, phone open, check.
True.
Any sort of moment where we're forced to actually sit and be still, we almost have been programmed to sort of avoid that. But it's in those moments that we sound really philosophical now, don't we? It's actually in those moments that if you don't slow down, if you don't stop and try and be present, not only will life just flash before your eyes, but sometimes you don't truly get to know who you are. What is it that you want from your life? What direction do you want to go? Because like I said, we're just go. There's so much busyness all the time now that you just got to slow down sometimes and plant the feet.
So what would you say is you've touched on your fitness goal? What would you say is some of even some of your personal goals as well too this year?
A lot of mine revolve around family now. That is my number one goal, is family. And things for those of you out there that don't yet have kids, enjoy that time because it's just different. it is a time that you can be selfish, right? And there's opportunities that you can do and capitalize on that you can't do once you're a parent. And so each chapter brings, something special into your life, but being a parent is by far the best achievement and accomplishment that I've had to date. And I just love it. So for me, pretty much all my goals now relate to family first.
I love that.
And there's still, obviously, I love bodybuilding and stuff. Yeah. But like I said, now it's like, right, the boys are my driving force. It's not like I want to win X trophy or, do this comp. It's like that's the byproduct of doing the things that I want to do to inspire the boys or to like protect the family and that sort of thing. And
it's almost like your why.
100%, man.
And I think
100%.
That's one of the things because we are so busy in this lifetime, people actually forget their why. They say, I want to do something, but why are you doing it? And then they get overloaded. But that's cool. What about business-wise as well too? Like, what are some of your business goals this year?
Yep. I just want to continue to grow things. I just want to help others. I want to expand. I prefer to do things solo, which, others would argue that it limits your growth, but I had two amazing coaches with me, absolute legends, great guys, Tristan and Sal. And for me, I just sort of worked out that the path that I was on, even if it means keeping the ship smaller, I just really enjoyed being able to just give every client 110%, right? And so I want to grow, but not dilute my service that I can give to my clients. And there's a part of me as well that wants to help dads too, now knowing what I do. And your priorities change, time becomes probably your biggest enemy, trying to fit everything in. Like the other night, I got to the gym at 9:30. And so it's about, right, how do you navigate your days as a dad? Do your sessions change? Is it no longer is it about doing 2 hours? It's maybe, okay, well, what can I get done effectively in 1 hour and still make progress moving forward? So a lot of my goals, man, like I said, they're driven by the family. And like you touched on, with you guys and setting your goals this year, really stop and take a moment to think about your why, because you've got motivation and then you've got your why. And my clients will know this is coming, but your motivation's like a coffee where it gives you a boost. So it might be 9 o'clock at night, you've got legs, you need some motivation to get in there, right? So there's, it might be listening to a motivational talk on Spotify, or you watch a Chris Bumstead YouTube clip. That'll get you in there and then. But that, like a coffee that goes up, you also get the drop off in energy as well. So your why is like having daily energy. That pulls you towards your goal with a more deep and meaningful way, right?
Yeah.
So I always say, with me having that family as a why, you do anything.
You do anything, yeah.
Whereas,
it has to be that powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah. Whereas, say motivation to, like I said, win X comp. A lot of the times we think about the outcome, and then we don't realize that, right, I think this is where a lot of people fall off the bandwagon when it comes to New Year's resolutions, and they start the gym, and then by sort of February, March, they're dropping off because they were so that they had this end goal, lose 10 kilos or look better in a bikini. But when you actually break that down into the habits and the daily systems that you need to do, mate, they're not that exciting. Get more steps in. Eat a little less food, prioritize your sleep. None of that really sounds as exciting as be in a bikini in Bali at things.
I'm going to Bali tomorrow. Yeah.
What colour's the bikini?
Oh, pink.
I hope it's reinforced, man. Jeez.
But I love how you touch on those things, because Alex Hormozi said, what is discipline? Discipline is not just waking up at 4 a.m. every morning and, going to the gym and doing the things you like. It's doing the things that you don't like. And that's very
100%.
interesting. But another thing that you touched on about, which I think is very, very powerful, and that saved me and has helped me all these years as well too, is The Atomic Habits. So it's 1% changes with James Clear.
Yep.
Insane. You can set a goal for the next 12 weeks. I want to get shredded but just celebrate those little wins.
Yeah,
just
generate the
aim
momentum.
to be better. Aim to be better. And also scientifically, without sounding too scientifically, you also get this dopamine effect from completing something.
Yep.
Okay, so those little things are important, for you to recognize and for you to continue checking off the list and be like, okay, I did this. What about tomorrow? What's next? You know, rather than setting like, oh yeah, 12-week goal, and then, you know, I'm getting shredded, but then like that's my end goal.
When the going gets tough.
When
like,
the going
yep.
So I'll say like it's nice to have like, let's say a 12-week goal, but what about for the rest of your life? Do you know what I mean? Like, one of my goals is I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, do you lift heavy? And I was like laughing.
Look at me.
I was like,
in my eyes, look at me.
I'm not even going to lie. In my head, that's what I was thinking. I didn't say that to them. Yeah. But then they're like, because they were a bit older than me, right? And they're like...
Do they have 20/20 vision glasses? Have a yellow Labrador with them at all? Or?
To be honest, it was actually like some of the best piece of advice in the sense of like about longevity, right? She's like, okay, I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I do lift heavy, but I also am very smart with like my recovery and being cautious. Of course, like things happen and you just don't expect it and you can't be perfect. But I was thinking about like in the long term, I'm like, when I'm 60, 70, I still want to look good. I still want to be able to lift decently. I still want to, you know, be in shape and just like, I don't want to be at the point where I'm like, okay, I used to do this when I was younger, but I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So just looking after your body long term is such a big thing. And it pulled me because in the start, my ego could have been like, look at me.
100%, man. Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm supposed to lift heavy, but even sometimes I go to the gym and I feel like we're more in tune with our body now. Yep. I'm like, okay, this feels a bit off. Like I love to train hard. We love to train hard. Yep. Like we could live in the gym, but this feels off today. Okay. Like instead of lifting 60 kilos, maybe I'll drop it down to like 50, a little bit more controlled.
Hammer curls are you talking?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I wish. But
when this guy says he's not lifting, let me just make one thing clear. When Kwame says he's not lifting as heavy, we're still talking bars bending, right? But you bring up a good point, auto-regulation.
Yes.
And this, I was literally just audioing a mate on the way here.
Oh, wow.
And he just had a few weeks off the gym and he's super strong, right? He can do the 60s on a chest press and 100% natural. He's like a bit of a weekend warrior. Yeah. You'll know I'm talking about him. Like he doesn't, let's say, focus on the nutrition side as much as the thing, but he's strong. And anyway, I said to him, I was like, man, just be careful when you get back into it after 3 weeks off. Like as much as your mind wants to go, if you go into a session, and I've been guilty of this too, if you're someone that uses an app or a logbook that you know what you did in your last session, if in your warm-up sets things just don't feel great, you know, you feel like that you just can't grease the groove and maybe you feel a bit shaky. We've all had those sessions.
Yes.
You can auto-regulate and just play it smart because I guarantee you those days where you still try and, like I'm not saying train easy, there's a difference, right? But if the target was 45s on a chest press and, you know, you're warming up and everything just, your shoulders are hurting and you're barely getting any chest activation, if you reduce that to maybe 42s or 40s, it's still not going to be easy, still go to failure, but all of a sudden your chest may feel amazing and you get such a better workout.
Exactly. And that like, because we get into our minds, right? That 60 kilos or whatever you were going to lift that day isn't going to change anything. But what will change is if you get an injury and that's going to put you back. And we don't want that. So these are some of the things that like, they're so little, but it can save you. Like it can save you so much time as well too.
It is a long-term game that we're playing. And the harsh reality of it is if you and I went and trained today and we had this like insane session, which they always are, but the harsh truth is that session really going to have an effect on our physiques, right? And honestly, it would be so small and insignificant that like a lot of people don't want to hear that. But man, we're not even talking about, you know, doing weeks of hard sessions and great sessions. When you've been training for a long time, your return on investment is much smaller. So it has to be training blocks that have been insane. So like 12 weeks worth or, you know, half a year. So for me now, if I could add a kilo and a half of muscle in a year, that's actually a good return.
100%.
But if you divide that amongst, here's my maths, right? 5 sessions a week times, let's just call it 50 weeks. What's that? 250 sessions, 2 hours a session. So 500 hours of work for a kilo or kilo and a half of muscle. Hopefully my math teacher's listening. I think that was right? But, you know, a lot of people, that doesn't sound that appealing. But you got to have a love for the game, because if you're after the short term, it's it's something that you're going to be disappointed.
And this is awesome that you touched on that, because this is one thing I always bring up to people. I'm like, you need to have passion or enjoy what you're doing as well. Find a way. Like, not one exercise fits all. Like, no one exercise is going to get your biceps as big. You know, there's so many different ways to train. And this sometimes also sprouts a bit of confusion when there's so much online too, because you're like, okay, I'm going to pick and choose. But then it depends on your goals. It's like, are you going to be challenging those muscles to grow each time? Are you going to be working hard enough as well too? But also, let's say you're out there and you don't want to do a gym bro split. There's so many different ways to train. Like, we don't demonize any way of training. I try so many different things.
You could do Zumba if you want.
I actually did Zumba at the last
ground would have been shaking.
and
that was your HQ days coming back.
Oh man. And you know, I actually posted a video like interrupting the Zumba class and doing, and the instructor pulled me to the front. And then I watched the video back and I was like, oh, I was actually going to the bay. And I did a bit of like, I do so much random things that sometimes I don't post on social media. So
we got to see more of it this year.
I did we are. I did a something called an animation class. And the reason I actually did this animation class was because I felt life was moving so fast that it's something that actually forces you to slow down. So like, you're lifting your hand and you're going slow, and then you go slow. Like, everything is so
like
slow.
Pop rocking type thing, like breakdancing?
It's
or
almost similar to, it's like a slow pop. Like, it's everything. And that was our homework, was like, I mean, when you're going home, when you drive, and just be careful. Like, obviously, go be careful about like little things. When you're about to eat your food, like, slowly, because it helps build and like improve your skill level. But it
makes sense. Yeah.
But that's the crazy thing. I feel like people always, people might be like, this one way fits all, but it's not. Like, for us, it's all about health and movements. And you've got clients that have got different goals. Sometimes I train similar to the way high rocks athletes train as well too. I don't do as much running. I just like to move, you know. And a lot of the times people start to get injuries at home. Like, they'll be playing basketball with the kids and they get injuries because they forget these movements that they used to do when they were younger. Like, you probably see your kids and they move around, jump off things.
Dude, I was at a wedding in Sydney over the weekend, and on the recovery, we played like kickball. So there was a circle of about 15 blokes, and the ball can't hit the ground, right? So you're doing knees, headers, and mate, the next day, the way I pulled up through my ankles and my hips, because we don't necessarily move like that anymore.
We don't.
And so, like you said, it's about when you get a little bit older, you start to think about things differently. And like, our goals sort of, you know, are very similar without us even knowing. I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great year. And I think, like, for episode 1, we've covered a lot, and we could have sat here and spoke for hours.
Oh, we can.
So I'm going to make some notes after this now of some next topics we could cover in our upcoming episodes. Yeah. We've got some very high caliber guests line up as well. Yes. So we hope you guys have enjoyed listening. It's been an absolute hoot for both of us. And like I said, even if no one out there is listening, I look forward to catching up with this guy every week and having a good chat. So, man, bring it on. 2026.
2026.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a big pleasure. And also, what I'd love you guys to do is comment what you would like to see more of. Because as much as I don't want to say this podcast isn't about us, okay? We want to help you as much as possible. We want to have fun with you. This is like yours as much as ours. We want to have fun. So comment what you guys want to see on. If you have any guests as well too that you think would fit this
We can
vibe,
make it happen. We can make it happen.
Yeah. I'm excited.
With your resume anyway. I'll just piggyback off you. I know Kwame. Yeah.
No, it'll be fun.
And like Kwame said, any topics you want covered. And the cool thing is that Kwame and I, as much as we have similar thoughts, even when we've trained in the gym together, we actually have different thoughts on a lot of different things as well. So this isn't just going to be us sitting and agreeing and nodding at each other and staring deeply into each other's eyes for 45, 60 minutes. It'd be cool to maybe even one week, you tell me your training style and your nutritional, approach you're taking.
Yes.
And then I'll give you some suggestions and then we'll flip it as well.
I love that.
That'd be cool.
And that's the cool thing as well, is like, we're both, like, after all these years, with our trained nutrition knowledge, we're always open to learn. And we're always open to listen and understanding and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't as well too. And again, this is an opportunity for you guys to be able to see and pick and choose what you want out of it.
It's safe to say, man, one of our approaches has been much more effective than the other.
What are you?
I'll be taking notes of your training.
I feel like, there's Hayes being fully clothed. I mean, I've shown a bit too much skin. I've
Never too much, man. I'm surprised the singlet's
You're going to have
still
to do a bicep flex and just pull one sleeve out for us because this guy's got a crazy physique.
I'm trying to think which is the best. Can you zoom yours in a little bit?
I'm actually going to. I'm going to have to. This is.
How are we? Is it on there?
Wait.
Oh, elbow.
Oh.
I need to start that wellness program.
Oh, okay. Now, there we go.
If
When
I
even turn this. Oh.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
One more. This is going to be the
Are we on?
show. Yes.
Oh, man. Even just doing that. See, this is why I think it's the year for us, man. We're going to diversify that training a little bit more. But thanks for tuning in, guys. That's a wrap. Episode number 1. Jeez.
That was small.
That's about, actually, like, if we were to measure in person, it probably is half the size of my torso. But we had a great time. Episode 2 coming up, so stay tuned. Comment below what you want to hear next, what topic you want covered, and we will speak to you very soon.
Thanks for tuning in to the Top Deck Radio. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.